Welcome to the Intuitive Therapist Podcast with Janis R. Cohen, therapist, clairvoyant, empath, and medium. Listen in as she takes a no-nonsense deep dive into real human struggles and how to resolve them. Janis will share channeled information from her spirit guide team, as well as the angels and archangels, to help you master your emotional, physical, financial, and spiritual destiny. And now, Janis R. Cohen.
Hey y'all, this is Janis, the Intuitive Therapist, here on the Intuitive Therapist Podcast. I had somebody the other day call me, and she's from Georgia, and it was sweet. She said, I love hearing hey y'all, and I hear that all the time, and I just think it's kind of a cute way of opening all my episodes. So there, hey y'all, hope y'all are having a good week. I want to talk to y'all today about you. I try to talk to you all the time about you, and I do mix in stories and stuff about me. That's only because I want you to know that where I come from is from a real place to want to help you. And I trickle in all that information, fold it in, because I need you to know that I'm not just this is not theoretical, conceptual stuff that I'm talking about. Everything I share with you has a reality base to it. And one of the things that I didn't figure out until later in life was I didn't know. It took me years to figure out why my life wasn't the way I wanted it to be. I read a lot of books. I studied the content from self-growth gurus. I mean, I really, really studied, and I tried to figure out what the elusive piece of the puzzle was that I was missing. I struggled for so many years to find peace, to find where to fit in. That was a hard one. To not just identify my voice, but to hear it and listen to it. And I want to talk with you today about how sometimes your most toxic relationship is with yourself. I spent far too many years, y'all have heard me talk about these things, far too many years of my life looking to others for guidance, for validation, for direction. Well, in all fairness, I was trained to do that by my folks. But I do have to say that they raised me that way with the best of intentions. And there's an episode that I have that I think would be really, really important for you to listen to. I like to refer to previous episodes because my teachings have all of this stuff folded in. And the previous episode that if you haven't listened to, that you can go back to, is called How to Blame Effectively. So I want you to remember that, and I'm going to explain what that is real quick so you can take all of this in context of blaming effectively. Okay, when I talk about my parents, because I think it's important for you to get to know me and to know where I come from. But the things where, look, no parent is perfect. Every parent screws up. You do the best you can. And many parents, like mine, they really try to be the anti-model of how they grew up. And sometimes when you try to be the anti-model, you end up going to an extreme, or you you become something entirely different, and that can be great, and you can parent from that perspective. But then there's sometimes with kids, and I know I experience this too, I'm going to talk to you about it, it kind of backfires. But anything your parents have done that you feel like you wish they shouldn't have or didn't have, you can turn it around and you can make it work for you. So blaming effectively means that whoever does whatever to you, doesn't have to be your parents, could be a sibling, could be a former romantic partner, could be a current romantic partner, could be a boss, could be a friend, client, colleague, anyone. You can take what they've done, knowing, that that's their behavior and it's a reflection of them, not you. But you can thank them for not doing right by you, because there's a lesson in that for you to learn. How can you better yourself because of somebody's mistake in how they treat you? That's blaming effectively. So I want you to go back, listen to that. And as I taught today, I want you to think about the people in your life that you feel like have wronged you, right? And the shit that's gone on in your life, the mistakes you've made, all of that. And I want you to listen to this in the context of how can I use everything to make my life better and become a better version of me and stop blaming everybody for my shit. That's what I want you to think about. My parents wanted me and my siblings to avoid suffering. Plain and simple. That was the intention. They wanted to create a family that was protected from all of the harsh realities that they faced when they were growing up. Some of it backfired. And I'll tell you why. So as I grew up, instead of learning how to think for myself, I was trained to seek direction from them before I did anything. Instead of being encouraged to explore the world, I was trained to stay close to home. Instead of being taught to get to know who I was as a person and think for myself and individuate to the max capacity, I was taught to learn a little bit about who I was through the decisions of my parents. Like I said, don't get me wrong. It's because of them that I have a clear understanding of what true love and partnership is. The value of family, being close, staying connected. And this is one of the things that my parents really, really pushed for, because there have been times where our family could have broken up, as with every single family. My family is not a perfect family by any means. And anybody that says they have a perfect family, they're lying. Just telling you, we all come from shit. We all have shit. Everybody's got shit. But my family, my parents made sure that nobody ever got in the way of keeping our family together. Nobody. And and they showed me what it means to love without expectation. Just love. I learned all of this and more from my folks. So they had the shortcoming of the things that I talked to you about, not really pushing us to really explore the world. They encouraged us to do little hobbies for sure. They didn't push us to think for ourselves and to experience life in a really, really big way. So I still found it profoundly difficult to figure out who I was. And it took me decades to really understand who I am. But the only way I could do that is if I figured that out, not if somebody told me. And until those clarifying moments hit me, I had to make a lot of stupid mistakes in all areas of my life, y'all. I really did. I tell you most things, but there's certain things I'm not going to tell you because I just really don't want to say. Anyway, some were reaped over and over and over again, repeated over and over again, until I had enough heartache that I finally established boundaries for myself that I'd never let myself or anyone cross ever again. Again, when you encounter that intolerable pain, you change. Until you get there, you're just uncomfortable. And that's when you bitch and moan about your life. When you're living in discomfort, you bitch and moan. When you've had it, you take action and you change your life. It took me years to realize that if I didn't fix my relationship with myself, that I was going to continue to struggle and feel as if I was floating in the abyss with no cord to tether me. As I've shared with you before, you can blame anyone and everything else for how shitty your life is, or you can own up to your decisions and actions and start to cultivate excellence within yourself and in every aspect of your life. Use the stuff that's happened to you to propel you to be a better person. That's blaming effectively. The common denominator in your life, and I know you know this intellectually, but I'm going to tell you because I want you to really pull it into the core of who you are. No matter what happens in your life, the common denominator is you. You determine how you feel. You determine how you react. You determine what you hold on to. You determine the story you tell yourself and other people. You determine your limitations. You determine your success. You cannot hold anybody else accountable for that. Period. You're not responsible for what somebody else does, but you are responsible for being better because of it. I want you to know, I've seen it over and over and over again in my life. One of the smartest things you can do is when shit happens to you, let karma take care of it. And you do you. Don't be someone who is passive aggressive to get somebody back when you're too weak to get out of a relationship. Don't do things like cut tires and really try to, I know this sounds crazy. There's some crazy people who really want to get back with somebody because they've done wrong to them, cheated on them, lied, whatever it is. So they go slash their tires, or they destroy their property, or they go to their job. I mean, just leave. Don't worry about getting back at these people, because you know what? If they have the capacity to do certain shit to you, they're miserable. They're in pain. Don't be in pain. Your job is to understand how toxic your relationship is with yourself and fix those parts of you that keep calling in cancerous relationships, confusion about your life path, poverty in mind and experience, and anything else that you believe is keeping you from being happy. Quit blaming your life. Quit blaming other people. If you put other people before you all the time, you will at some point in your life have resentment for it. And you think you're going to blame all these selfish people for taking and taking and taking from you. But you're missing the point completely if you do that. Your contempt for them is really your contempt for yourself for not saying no when you wanted to, for giving away what they took. Nobody can take something from you unless you give it. No matter what happens, nobody can break you unless you choose to be broken. You can't blame anybody else for stealing your light and energy if you let them. You can't blame anybody else for exploiting your kindness when you should have been kinder to yourself first and not let it happen. You can't blame anybody else for betraying you either with money, sex, emotions, or physically when you should have been practicing fidelity with yourself first. Period. You cannot blame anybody for the condition of your life. That is the weak way to live your life. It is a cop-out. And as soon as you realize that, you can shift your life in a snap. You take back the power in your life. But stop blaming others, stopping to blame others, and take on that amazing, awesome responsibility that you have to change your life. If you spend most of your life listening to what other people say about you, about what you can and can't do, what you will and won't do, what you should and shouldn't do, and you play small because you're too afraid to be judged or criticized or rejected, the one person who can change all of that worrying and projecting onto others what you need to fix in you is you. Nobody can reject you if you accept yourself fully. I'm going to say it again because this is what I have figured out in my life. No one can reject you or make you feel any kind of way if you love the shit out of yourself. If you stayed in toxic relationships and then played the martyr card or complained about your life and didn't do anything to end a relationship that was destroying your self-worth, it begins and ends with you. No one outside of you is responsible for what you choose to do with your life except you. Intellectually, I know you know all of this. But living this truth is something different entirely. Trust me, I know. How you see yourself is up to you. What you believe about yourself is up to you. The opportunities that you take or reject are up to you. The dreams that you give up on or the ones that you pursue with passion are all up to you. All relationships we have some degree of toxicity. They need that polarity to help keep us on our toes and to remember who we truly are and who we truly want in our lives and what we want in our lives. We call these people in to shake up our lives, to cause problems, or to enrich our lives and contribute to them. We do that. That's the beautiful power of us. People who cause us difficulty or bring toxicity, they teach us what lessons we need to learn and which ones we've mastered. If you are no longer bothered by something, you've mastered that lesson. So there's a saying that what you see in me is a reflection of you, and the contrary is what bothers you in other people is something you have unsettled in yourself. So just know that anytime somebody irritates you, and I still have trouble with it sometimes, when they're, there's this one person I know, and in all honesty, she really pisses me off. And the reason why she pisses me off is because she's so blunt. Like, she just says what's on her mind. Granted, she has no filter. She's got ADD and she's just all over the place. But she pisses me off because she just says what's on her mind. She doesn't give a shit. She's just being her. So I know that I got stuff to work on. That when I get to the point where I'm like, not so always, and I've gotten better at this, but there are times where I still temper what I say because I don't want to upset the apple cart. And I try to be PC, politically correct. So when I'm truly fine with that in myself, that behavior of hers is not going to piss me off anymore because I know why. That's what I'm saying. I want you to be able to think about things like that. So if somebody does something that pisses you off, you're not right with yourself. You got to clear that up. And your goal is to clear up all of that so that you can live your life unencumbered, unaffected by anyone or anything. That all you do is you figure out ways to grow and bring joy into your life. Your most toxic relationship is with you because you know you best. And you're the only one who can change your life. Or you're the only one who can hide from it. If I can figure this out, so can you. I didn't have somebody to teach me this. I didn't. I had to figure this out on my own. And that's why I wanted to do this podcast, because I could save you 20 years in therapy with a few episodes if you listen to me. I've had people write me, I can't even begin, 50, 100 people say the same thing. I'm in therapy, and if I didn't have this podcast, I'd be stuck. Or, you've saved me 20 years in therapy just by teaching me this stuff. And I want that. I want to help you create a shortcut to your life so you can experience happiness fast. Please stop blaming your past. Please stop blaming your parents, your romantic partners in the past, the things that you've done, the patterns you keep up, for why your life isn't the way you want it to be. Quit. Enough. Change your story. Change your life. Try shoring up your faith in something bigger than you. Try reaching out a hand and letting somebody hold it and help you instead of you moaning about how awful your life is. Try creating a relationship with yourself that is so fucking durable, trustworthy, and exciting that any other relationship outside of you pales in comparison to the relationship you have with yourself and can't ever threaten your self-worth, your dreams, or your peace of mind. Try all of that. Focus on you. Stop waiting for other people to change so that you can be happy. Because, baby, ain't going to happen. Nothing outside of you can be influenced by you. Only you can influence you. And if somebody else decides they want to change, okay. But you need to just be happy you. Nothing outside of you, no job, no relationship, no amount of money will ever fill you up and make your life sustainably happy. All of that begins and ends within you and the relationship you have with yourself. And if you are happy with yourself, if you know that every single day you wake up and do what's right for you, even though there are things on your list that you don't do, but you wake up every day and you're the nicest, sweetest, kindest, lovingest, I know that's not a word, but I'm going to say it anyway, lovingest person to yourself and to everybody else, you got it. That's it. I hope you get my point. Because you don't have a moment more to waste to get it. Time is running out. Don't be your enemy. Be your advocate. Be your best friend. And then see how health shows up in all areas of your life. I love you. I hope you have a blessed day, a wonderful week, and as always, live intuitively.
Thanks for listening to The Intuitive Therapist. If you like what you heard, the best compliment you can give us is to share this podcast with a friend. And be sure to give us some stars and a favorable review at Apple Podcasts or wherever you listen in.